there, welcome back. Today I have for you sort of a mini book haul. It's just one series, it's a middle grade series, all by one author, and it is the Enola Holmes mystery. And there are 6 books in this series. Now I had originally became aware of it when I saw book 1 come out in hardcover, and it had really nice hardcovers, but there's something about this particular series when I saw it in paperback that just really drew me to it and made me decide I want to find out more about these, I want to read these. And they're just super colorful and really adorable covers. I love that they number the spines too. I wish more publishers would do that with their books so you could keep track of how the series goes. And I'll show you the individual covers at the end. But what this series is the Enola Holmes Mysteries, and it features this young girl, Enola Holmes. She's 14 years old. She is the very much younger sister of Mycroft and the great detective Sherlock Holmes. Now she lives in Ferndale Hall with her mother, her father having passed away many years ago. The time is late 19th century, and in this particular time in society, the estate doesn't fall to the widow, but it goes to the eldest son. In this case, happens to be Mycroft. Now, he's allowed the mother and daughter and her daughter to live at Ferndale Hall, and he pays for the upkeep of the estates, the groundskeeping, the staff, a governess for Enola, dance instructions, art instructions, all these things that her mother requests. He sends the money for her. Her mother is sort of a very independent thinker. She's for that particular time in society, and she doesn't quite conform to the way society thinks a proper lady should be. But she's kind of headstrong. She instills that same kind of sense of freedom and thing in her daughter, Enola. Her mother's very into flowers and painting, and she has lots of books on this, and she shares this with her daughter as well. She often tells Enola that she will do quite well on her own, meaning to give her that sense of self-respect and security and strength. And in fact, her name, if you take a close look at it, Enola, reversed spells alone. So that was quite an interesting kind of little twist on the storyline. Suddenly, on Enola's 14th birthday, though, the mother disappears. And of course, she's frantic to find out what happened to her mother. Did something, did someone kidnap her? What happened? Did she have an accident and no one could identify her? She doesn't know what to do other than to contact her 2 older brothers. They come out from London to the hall, and once they're there, they discover that the mother has been deceiving all 3 of them. All the money that Mycroft has sent over the years for a governess that doesn't exist, for dance instructions that she never received, or art instructions, for the groundskeeping, which hasn't been done. Everything is overgrown around the hall. For the staff, there's just a very minimal staff that actually exists. So for some reason, the mother has been squirreling away this money, and they believe it was for her to sort of make her escape and start a new life for herself. Now, of course, the young girl is very upset about this, and over the course of the next few days, she starts to uncover clues that her mother left for her specifically. And she starts to kind of unravel these clues unbeknownst to her brothers. Her oldest brother, Mycroft, pretty much washes his hands of the mother. He decides that, she's on her own. Sherlock, and he goes back to London. Sherlock decides to go back to London, but to pursue the search there for his mother. But before Mycroft leaves, he decides that the best place for young Enola is in a boarding school to learn how to become a proper lady, to wear corsets and learn proper posture. And the girl wants none of this. She doesn't want to lose the freedom that she has had all these years, and she wants to search for her mother. So she escapes and kind of sets out to search out these clues and look for her mother, and that's where the whole story kind of takes off. There's a second mystery that she encounters throughout this, and throughout all this, she's also trying to elude her brother Sherlock, who they, of course, eventually discovered that she has disappeared. And that's kind of what the whole series is about, is her encountering these various mysteries, while at the same time maintaining her freedom and staying undercover and hiding out from her brothers. Really delightful series. I really enjoyed the character. For a young girl, she's very resourceful. She does very well on her own. Really, really intriguing. I love the books, like I said, are just adorable. This particular first book in the series is called The Case of the Missing Marquis. And all these little symbols, there's like a knife here, a bed knob, flowers, umbrella, a pen and quill, a key, and an easel. All these are something that feature within this particular story. Then this is the second book, The Case of the Left-Handed Lady. I've read this one as well. The the young girl sets up a sort of business for herself. It's they call it scientific predatorian, the only one in existence in the world, apparently. But it's someone who can search out lost people, lost items, but being a woman in the society, she can't really have a business of her own. It would be unheard of. So she pretends that she is the assistant to a Dr. Ragostein, and he's the one who is running this particular business. And she just says she gathers the information for him. He's out of town, or she makes excuses to kind of keep this business running. And in this particular book, book 2, which is the largest one in the series, it's about 234 pages. The rest are all under that amount. Her very first client happens to be one Dr. John H. Watson, who is there on behalf of Sherlock to ask for Dr. Ragostein's help in finding young Enola Holmes. So how ironic is that? So now she has to try and still maintain her disguise and pretend that she's working on this case, yet not reveal herself. It's really, really intriguing how this one works. And of course, there's another mystery within this series as well. I really like this one. The danger kind of ramps up pretty high in this particular book. I've only read the first 2 in the series, so I haven't continued yet. Book 3 is called The Case of the Bizarre Bouquet. And like I said, they start getting pretty thin at this point. The Case of the Peculiar Pink Fan is book 4. Again, I just really, really love the details in these covers. The hardcovers, if you prefer hardcovers, are equally really nicely done. A little bit more, not a graphic-y kind of image, but artistic image. This is The Case of the Cryptic Crinoline. And she's holding a knife in there. And The Case of the Gypsy Goodbye. And that's book 6. I don't know that there's any further in the series. They do show all of these 6 books on all of the books, so that might be all that are in the series. But the writing style is really very well done for middle grade. You don't feel like you're reading a middle grade book. In fact, I'm going to read from book 1 the little page excerpt on it to give you an idea of the writing style. It said, "I had stood still a moment too long. Heavy footsteps sounded behind me. I leapt forward to flee, but it was too late. The footfalls rushed upon me. An iron grip grasped my arm. I started to scream, but a steely hand clamped over my mouth. Very close to my ear, a deep voice growled, 'If you move or cry out, I will kill you.' Terror froze me. Wide-eyed, staring into the darkness, I couldn't move. I could barely breathe. As I stood gasping, his grip left my arm and snaked around me, clasping both arms forcibly to my sides, pressing my back against a surface that might as well have been a stone wall had I not known it to be his chest. His hand left my mouth, but within an instant, before my trembling lips could shape a sound in the dim night, I saw the glint of steel, long, tapering to a point like a shard of ice, a knife blade." So it's very well written. You almost feel like you're reading a Sir Arthur Conan Doyle story. So it's Nancy Springer, as the author describes, how for years she couldn't get enough of the Sherlock Holmes growing up. She practically memorized stories, so she has quite a love of the original writing style and everything, and it definitely shows in her books. Very unique character, very enjoyable. If you like to read middle grade, sometimes just a light read, just to throw in there. These take anywhere from, depending on your reading speed and time available, you could read them in under 3 hours. Really, really quick, really short chapters, of course, and very, very enjoyable. So that's my little mini book haul on Nancy Springer's Enola Holmes Mysteries. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you decided to give them a try, and thanks for watching. Bye-bye.